Hi everyone, so today we want to take a look at Budalangi as a case study for climate change, peace and mobility. Just for context purposes, Budalangi is located in Kenya, Busia County, and the area is significantly affected by climate-induced displacement. It is situated near Lake Victoria and it is bordered by River Nzoia, which you will get to see later on in the video. These floods have caused severe displacement, especially in areas like the Budalangi IDP camps. Specifically, the camp which we will get to visit in this particular video is called the Buterere camp. Here, families have found themselves repeatedly uprooted by floods triggered by heavy rainfall and backflow from the famous Lake Victoria. The problem has escalated due to intensified weather patterns attributed to climate change. The increased frequency and severity of the floods are not only eroding homes but also farmlands, which is leading to the displaced families, and it is a very big humanitarian crisis. The displaced communities here are forced into IDP camps where resources are scarce and livelihoods are disrupted, highlighting the need for sustainable solution. And we will get to see climate-induced displacement is more than just a physical challenge. It disrupts communities, cohesion and peace, resource scarcity and competition as displaced people lose their farms, income sources. We have started our journey from Kakamega town. Kakamega is located on the western part of Kenya and it is in the very highlands, so the place is very fertile and their main economic activity is agriculture. For the remainder of the video, I'll try not to comment as much and just allow you to take in, the views and enjoy. We have started yeah, so Dr. Nyandiko is joining us. Yeah, driving. So we enjoy the ride. Right now we are approaching River Nzoia. It's one of the tributaries that Victoria. Hey, it's huge! We've made a quick stop on the shores of Lake Victoria and we found something interesting. We have fish farmers here practicing caged fish farming, aquaculture. So Lake Victoria is shared by Tanzania, Uganda and Kenya and is the source of 33% of Africa's freshwater fish. Caged fish farming has become a major aquaculture practice with many small-scale and large-scale fish farms operating in the lake. The main species farmed are tilapia, Nile perch and catfish. This industry provides income and employment opportunities for the local communities, but also raises concerns about fish stocks, depletion, and habitat. More about fish farming: the cage can be of any shape. It can be round, square, or long, but in this case, they do prefer the square one. And the best material for the cage is just an ordinary fishing net. And if you cannot get a fishing net, you can use either a plastic mesh or a woven material. And also the openings in the materials that you use to cover a cage must be small enough to keep the smaller fish inside from going out. The fishermen in this case were kind enough to let us record as they were woven their net onto the cage itself. And they have different specifications depending on the size. And another fascinating thing is the fish does get to grow in these cages, so you have to prep the net in such a way the fingerlings cannot escape, and even when they grow, if you remove it, there's also another net now that will slightly trap the bigger fish. So it is gradual process. So later on, when they're done with this process, they can simply just they can just build a simple cage by driving like the 4 posts into the bottom of the water. But in this case, they were not driving it down. They were using these yellow jerry cans to make them float. And hence, they are the floating cages. So it is a very fascinating invention that's happening here in the Kisumu area. And it was glad for us to to watch it. From the puddles of water, you can tell we have arrived on our location, which is the Budalangi area. It is a constituency in Busia County, Kenya, and it is a low-lying area prone to frequent flooding due to its location near Lake Victoria. The floods are usually caused by heavy rainfalls, landslides, and the overflow of the Sabaki River, which is also a tributary feeding the Lake Victoria. The area has experienced severe flooding in the past and displaced thousands of people, affecting agriculture and local businesses. The government and the NGOs have tried to implement measures to mitigate the effects of flooding in the region, including flood measures and emergency response plans. And from the video, you can see the damage it has done to the properties. Some houses were submerged fully. Some houses, due to the excessive water, interfered with the houses' foundations. So what the locals have done is they try to find higher areas, higher ground that are dry, and that's where they set up the camps. And this is the first camp we set up. We landed and it was the Buterere camp. And from here we will get to interview the locals, talk to them, and fully understand their experiences in the camp.
Prof, you share with you. So this is the only place. So once the water got into the houses, people started moving at night, and they came to this place because it's a bit raised.
sababu huku nyumba au sehemu ya kwetu hapa ndio kuna juu, alafu kuna pale katikati pia kuna tent iko pale, hapo pia ndio juu, alafu kuna pale Humuanda. Kuna hizo sehemu tatu tu ambazo tunaweza kukinga.
So these are the places where they came, which are somehow raised, but the others are lowlands.
Sasa kwa kufika hapa hivyo ukatengeneza hapa maisha, ukaanza kukaa hapa hivyo.
So they started life here.
Ingawa tulikuwa na changamoto nyingi venye tulifika hapa hivi.
They have been having so many challenges since they came here.
Kwanza kabisa ni mimi personally ninakaa ile ndo nyumba yangu.
Which one?
Hii
The first one.
Hii ya kwanza,
Oh,
hiyo
the first
tent ya
one.
kwanza.
This is first tent in his house.
Hiyo ndo nyumba yangu.
Una watu wangapi familia?
Mimi kwa hiyo nyumba tunakaa watu wanne.
The tent, this first tent.
Hii ya kwanza.
Yeah, his house. The first tent, that
first
one.
tent.
Hiyo ya
They
kwanza.
stay 4 people inside.
Tunakaa watu wanne, mimi,
Four.
mama na watoto wawili.
His spouse and 2 children.
Tunakaa hapo na unakuta mzee kama huyu.
Which one?
Huyu hii yenye hapa yenye imefungwa.
Yeah, the man who stays there.
Kwa hapo mzee mmoja ambaye ako na mwanamke na ako na watoto wakubwa ambao wako secondary level, watoto 4 na wajukuu 3.
So the man stays with the spouse and big children who are in high school level. 4 of them plus grandchildren. How many grandchildren?
In
3.
this tent.
3 grandchildren in that tent.
So ikifika ile wakati wa kukaa wanaona ni maisha magumu sana, kwa sababu wale watoto ni wakubwa na wanafaa kuwa na sehemu yao ya kulala, lakini nawakuta kwamba pia wao wote wanakaa kwa hiyo nyumba moja.
So basically, since the children you need at a certain age to move away, but now the children cannot move, so they are just staying in that tent with the parents and all of them. So basically, you can see the number of people staying in that small tent.
Ulipofika hiyo time walikuwa tumefunga shule, watoto walikuwa wanaenda shuleni.
So at that time the children were going to school.
Hii barabara yetu yote ilikuwa ni maji. Hiyo barabara inapita na gari yote.
The road we have used, all of this road was covered by water.
Lakini watoto wanapita kwa hiyo barabara kwenda shuleni.
So the children were just passing through the water going to school.
But issue kubwa ilikuwa kwamba watoto wakipita kwa hiyo barabara kitu saa 12 unapata kwamba kuna watu pia tena wameenda kwa hiyo barabara wamengoja watoto kuwabaka.
So some children when they were going to school, some were being raped in the evening, in the morning when they are going to school.
Yeah. So hiyo ndio challenges ambazo tumekuwa nazo
By the villagers or the community members. Unaona kwa na rape.
Ni community members tu.
So the community members.
So unakuta watu wengine wanaweza kukosa kuwa wa hapa, lakini mtu ametoka kule ng'ambo, amekuja na hiyo dike, akapita pale kuna maji pale, ukiteremka kwa dike, anateremka hapa anaenda huko kama pengine watu wengine hawajui.
Others were from the neighboring communities who were using the dike to come over this side. Yeah, to do those activities.
So hiyo hali imekuwa hali ngumu, ama imebidi wazazi wengine kwa sababu hakuna kazi wamekaa tu pale, imebidi wazazi wengine wakuwa wanabeba watoto wao asubuhi, unashika mtoto mkono unaenda naye mpaka shuleni.
So it forced the parents to start escorting the kids to school because of the situation,
ambayo imekuwa hali ngumu sana mpaka ikachangia wazazi kukosa kufanya kazi.
So it made the parents cannot go to look for some source of income because now they have to take care of the safety of the children going to school.
Hiyo imechangia mpaka tumekuwa chini sana kwa kufanya kazi, ni kwa sababu tu tunahofia ulinzi wa watoto.
So they are not doing any activity because of that situation, and therefore they are, in terms of economic wise, they are down because they are not doing any source of kind of a livelihood basically. And so the main livelihood here was farming. They were doing farming activities, but now since the area was flooded, that means now the activity, they can't do farming any longer.
So kulingana na hiyo hali pia tumekuja tukakosa mahali hata pa kuweza kuchimba hata kama ni choo.
So even now, because of the numbers, they don't have even a place where they can construct a toilet.
Hiyo imechangia sana. Maji ile ambayo tulikuwa tunatumia, unapata hiyo maji tunachota hiyo yenye kwa barabara na tena hiyo maji unapata mtu mmoja ameenda kwa hiyo maji, amejisaidia kwa hiyo maji, ameenda haja kwa hiyo maji.
So because of that condition, they even don't have enough water, clean water. They just collect water from the stagnated water, but also sometimes you find people pollute the water by just defecating in that water.
Ambayo pia imekuwa shida moja ambayo tumekuwa nayo kulingana na hali ambayo tumekuwa nayo.
So those are some of the challenges that they are undergoing. Maybe nikuuliza, how many households
Households ziko hapa
in this camp?
In this camp hapa wako 173.
So like here we have 173 households.
There are other households by there from another camps.
Yes.
This is not the only.
Kuna watu wengine wako separated huku, kuna wengine wako hapo nyuma kwa sababu tu ya sehemu.
Because now they are settling in somewhere where there's no water. So wherever they get a patch which is not having water, that's where they settle. So there are some camps that side, there's others on the other end.
Na watu wengine walisafiri na pia walikuwa wanaacha sehemu zao kwa Mombasa wapi, so wengine walikuwa wanatumia hizo nyumba kuingia hapo kukaa hapo. Ingawa pia pengine unaweza enda kwa nyumba ya mtu tena anakuitisha pesa kwa mwezi, kuna analipa.
Explain that. Is that point that he has just also said that they are also occupying places where people have gone to look for
people
livelihoods
migrated
outside.
to maybe somebody's in Mombasa, and they left his house, so they had to also get into those houses and try to shelter themselves. But now it's reached a point whereby the owner wants money. You have to pay him some money for you to continue staying in that house.
So the houses, are they far from the camp?
No, like this one.
Okay, like
This is the house you're talking about.
And that's related to the question I wanted to ask. So how far is the community that was flooded from this community, such that this insecurity that we see among children is very pronounced here? It wasn't pronounced when they were living. Do they share the same? Are they kin? Do they talk the same language? How is it that when they were there with their livelihoods, the children were not as insecure as the children are now when they come to this place?
Wakati mlikuwa mnaishi huko before mafuriko ikuje, mbona hii issue ya watoto kwa kuna viziwa kubakwa haikuwa? Na mbona sasa mafuriko ilikuja ikafanya wanasema hiyo issue ikaanza ama ikatokea?
Sasa hiyo issue inatokea ni kwa sababu kwa barabara ambazo tuko nazo kwanza zilikuwa maji, alafu imemea ni kama bush. So watu walikuwa wanatumia hiyo advantage kwa sababu kule kwa barabara watu hawako. Unajua saa hivi haiwezi kuwa kwa sababu watu wanapita kila mara. Na ile time watu hawakuwa.
So he's saying during that time when the roads were flooded, you will find that along the roads there was bushes. So people were hiding in those bushes. That's when they were doing those activities. But now, since now the road is clear, and at least people are crossing now and again, so it has reduced at least.
So the bush, the growth of the bush is the one that now caused the increase in the.
The people used to rape their children. Did they meet? Are they different people they met in this community, or those who moved that became violence against the children?
Kuna hao watu wanatoka kule ng'ambo kwa sababu kule ng'ambo wanajua huku kuna mafuriko. Wanatoka kule ng'ambo wanakuja na dike. Mtu anakuja na dike, anateremka pale kwa maji.
They actually from other communities.
Another village across whereby they know that
we take advantage of the bush
of the condition.
I have questions, please. The first one is that those that were raped, was there any legal actions? Was there any police? Did they report to the police? What did the police do and all this stuff? That's the first one.
Kuna wale wenye walishtakiwa mpaka sasa hivi, kuna wengine wamefungwa na kesi zao bado zinaendelea mpaka sasa hivi tunaongea.
So there were those who were arrested, even there some who were arrested, but the cases are on in the courts.
Presently?
Yeah, presently.
So nothing happened 2019 that this thing started?
So, sorry?
This is 2019, that's when this camp started?
Yes.
Was there any case of rape that time? Has the case been finalized? Now, was there any conviction?
Kuna mwenye amefungwa because kesi yake imeisha akafungwa.
Kesi yake imeisha akafungwa. Kuna kijana mmoja hapa hivi.
So there's one boy who was his case was convicted.
Okay, so there's a legal process.
Yes, yes.
The second question, when they moved, oh, you're asking. Okay, thank you so much. So when you guys came here, somebody was owning this place. Was there a conflict between you coming here and the person that was staying here? Was there any?
Vile mlikuja hapa sasa hii area kulikuwa na conflict na wenyeji wapo walikuwa wanaishi hapa.
So mtu mwenye anaishi hapa I think ni mzee wangu.
Ndio ana welcome.
Sasa yeye ndiye alituambia akasema kwa sababu ni maji siwezi kuacha watu wangu. Mimi na wakubali mkuje tukae pamoja.
So the father is the one who welcomed them because of the floods. Now he told them, now I can't see you dying there. Come here, you have somewhere you can put some shelter and stay.
And normally what happens is that they just welcome anybody who they come. And they come in very good faith, and they assist them. Because very many homes, very many like this household, have that kind of relationship with the owner. He doesn't charge them. That's what I understand. And the owner is here, yes. And there are very many like this, by the way. This is just one, which has 173. There are so many others.
So the 173 households are just in this compound.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So they don't have for them the ones who are staying here.
Kwa saizi ingawa hali ni ngumu sana, watu hawana sehemu ya kufanya kazi kupata lenye wanakula ama hawezi fanya ukulima.
They depend on relief food and well wishers to bring at least support in terms like now you can see Red Cross, Kenya Red Cross has brought some foodstuffs. So that's what entirely what they depend on.
And the government?
There is a question here. There is another question.
Sorry?
Yeah. Okay, talk for
Vile tulikuwa kwa kampuni nyingine tuliambiwa kuna also food for hiyo program bado iko.
Chakula kazi unapewa kazi unapewa chakula.
Hiyo program haiko.
There was such a program of food for work. That's what I was asking if it's still there. Because when you were around about 2 months ago, we were told there was such a thing. But he's saying that
ilikuwa huo wakati kama wale daktari wanafanya kuna kazi fulani walikuwa wanafanya hapo.
Yes.
Hiyo wakati.
The food for work used to be there, but it's no longer there. When some doctors were working on something.
So what does the government inawapea pia chakula? Kama mahitaji.
Upande wa chakula, mimi upande wa government nishai receive chakula yao ni mara moja tu. Since 2019 ni karibu mara 4.
So since 2019 the government has given them food for around 4 times.
4 times.
Only. 4 times only, but now the other things they entirely depend on well-wishers, NGOs like Red Cross to support.
How often do they come? Is it enough to feed them? Don't they do
Sorry?
How often?
They wanaleta msaada wanakuja kila wakati ama ni mara moja.
Sasa kuna wenye wanakuja venye Red Cross wanakuja hivyo wanaweza kaa kama hata miezi 5. Tena kwa hiyo miezi 5 ukuta tena shirika lingine linakuja ama msamaha mwingine anakuja.
So like it's a kind of an irregular frequency because if like now they are being given by Red Cross, they may take maybe 5 months, maybe another well-wisher bring something, then they wait another period of time, maybe another organization comes with some support. Which Red Cross. Which apart from Red Cross, you said Red Cross kuna government organization nyingine gani inawaletea?
Kuna
UNICEF,
kuna
World Vision,
kuna hawa Care Kenya. Kuna hawa kikundi ambacho kinatoka Homa Bay kinajiita Scientology pia kitusaidia kuna mahindi kidogo.
The tents are from UNICEF?
UNICEF.
The tents,
Vilipeana na Red Cross, but walikuwa na UNICEF.
So the tents were given by Red Cross in partnership with the UNICEF. Yes.
Yes.
support has been given to them? And also, for example, when they get sick, what do they have access to health? And particularly for women, childbirth, or family planning, that whole, what happens in that context of health and for the children?
Umepata hiyo swali?
Haswa sana upande wa hospitali tulikuwa na changamoto. Sasa hivi tunaweza access hospitali vizuri.
They had a challenge of the hospital, accessing the hospital.
Pale nyuma tulikuwa na hiyo shida kwa sababu njia zote zilikuwa na maji.
Because most of the roads were blocked.
Njia yenye tulikuwa tunatumia ni kwenda pale kwa ufuo, tunachukua boat, unazunguka na boat ndipo uende hospitali ambayo ilikuwa njia ngumu sana.
So they used, at that time they used to go to use a boat, go across to access the hospital.
Kwa sababu hospitali yenye hapo karibu ni Kala Model. Health center. Hapo karibu.
There's a health center. Okay, there's a health center nearby that they use to access medication. But it's in this case also Red Cross, sometimes they come with outreaches. So like Red Cross also sometimes have outreaches, medical camps to come at least and once in a while to check on them, give some medication. Sasa na kazi kama nasema sasa
Nikireact kwa hilo swali, I've had a lot of stories that watu wawe relocated from this end kwenda wapi, but the livelihood ya wakazi wa hapa wamezoea hapa to an extent that to adopt a new area becomes a problem, because kama hapa kwetu we are used to fishing, majority of us. Probably you are taking me to a place where there is no lake, there is no river. We are adapted to eating fish. That is the main point. Most of us don't like moving out of here. But currently, we have got a good number of people moving away because their hands are well off.
Namba wanaweza kuwa willing, wanaweza kuwa willing kutoka kwa sababu mashamba si yao, walipewa tu, walisongewa tu nafasi. Hao wanaweza kubali kutoka juu hawana nafasi ya kuendelea kukaa hapo. Utapata kwamba mali penye wamepewa ni mali sehemu kidogo sana ya kujenga nyumba yao na space kidogo ya kulima. Sasa unapata kwamba hiyo sehemu yenye walipewa tayari iko flooded. Sasa wanatamani ya kwamba wakipata chance mtu awapatie nafasi ya kutoka watatoka. Juu hapo mali si pao. But hawako willing kutoka kwa sababu wanalia kwa ajili ya shamba yao kubwa iko flooded. So wako na hope ya kwamba some 10 years to come ama 20 years to come hiyo hali itakuwa mzuri, itarudi sawa. So hata ukiwapatia pesa ngapi hawawezi kutoka juu, wako na hope ya kwamba Mungu atawakumbuka na wataendelea kukaa hapo.
Okay,
Amen. Said is that Anama can be willing to move, like the ones who were squeezed, because this is not their place, but they were just welcomed for a period of time, but this is not their land. But such a group will be willing to move. But also the second thing she said is that these people also, they have hope that in future, maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now, because they have a large parcel of land, that this water will have gone away and they go back to their land. So they are really wishing God to do some miracles so that things change and they go back to their land. So that's why also they may not be willing to move.
And she talked about the ladies and men, how the perspectives are. Have you explained it? They said wamama wanamo wamama, sindio? Okay, she said that for men they can easily move out, but for ladies they are just lying on hope. Attachment. Okay, that when the right things come, then they can transform and move away. But men, they are more easy to move out. Yes, that's the message. Lakini unaona swali lake anasema watu wanasoma.
Wheat, maize, there's some other,
Nowadays they are not affected by the water from Nzoia because of the dike was well maintained and it was well constructed. However, now the water that is being affected is the backward flow from the lake.
Lake itself.
So that's why they had some strategies, they were saying if the dike can be extended for 4 kilometers.
4 kilometers.
Yes, 4 kilometers. Then it prevents this backflow of the lake. So there's something that they really brought up last time on issues of politics. They were talking of this lake backflow is also because of politics between the various countries. Uganda. Walikuwa nasema sijui Uganda walifunga milango fulani. I never understood that point clearly.
That Uganda blocked some place.
Some place, so that's how this.
So when it rains on the lake, now more backflows come from this.
Or they were also talking of Uganda. They are constructing. Is it Uganda or Ethiopia? A dam. So that if those kind
Ethiopia,
of
that's Omo Dam.
Yes. Yeah. So those kind of developments in those countries, they feel like it's the one which
that's
is really
affecting this place.
Actually in the media.
Yeah.
That the fights between what you're talking about Egypt, South Sudan,
Ethiopia,
and they are blocking each other.
Yes.
In the water.
Yeah.
I want to give it a historical background a bit, but not so much deep. Even when the dam, Jinja, the dam was being built for electricity in Uganda. Yeah, we heard also this problem. A lot of backflow of the lake. But then when the regulation of the dam for electricity generation at Jinja was normalized, then that problem went down, subsided. That was in the 70s and all that. We had that. So it's also coming up because that Omo Dam, also in Sudan something is happening. And also the regulation of the irrigation gets in Egypt and all that. So it's likely to affect the lake and this area. So I think there is, one of the solutions would be treaties, international treaties, frameworks, to be able to address this.
The issue of the lake.
Yeah. So you can see that's
their source of livelihood used to be farming, and then they moved here. Yes, there's fishing. Fishing can still be done, but farming needs land. Do they have access to land now? Since 2019, that's how many years later. Do they have access to land now? And then going back to the issue of health services, where do women access health care for like SRHR issues? Specifically childbirth. I heard that their health, what do they call them? Camps? Yeah, so for maternal health care, where do they get that kind of assistance?
So facilities ziko, then tuko pale na Rukada, tuko na port,
Those are dispensaries.
Health center. Tuko na model health center.
How far?
The distance.
Kutoka hapa kufika huko. Kutoka hapa kufika huko inachukua kama mita 2 kilometers.
2 kilometers from here. And that's where now hapo ndio wamama wanazalia. So that's where the women go for delivery.
Okay, so it's the 2 health centers close by.
Yeah, the two only two.
No, the farming one you haven't responded.
The first one was
Access to land.
oh, kuna access to land ya kulima.
So where do you farm them?
They don't farm currently because
they say
the water still is there.
Hatufanyi hiyo kazi sasa hivi kwa sababu bado mashamba iko kwa maji. Hata tukitoka hapa tukifika pale mbele utaona bado maboma zao tuko kwa maji, shamba zote tuko kwa maji.
So mostly the area is covered by water, so they can't do any kind of farming yet up to now since 2019.
So sorry, what about fishing? I think fishing, the water is still there. So what stops the fishing?
No, fishing.
No, the fishing they are doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But sorry, if you want to have a good adaptation, that means that if you still want to live.
So what's it, Obisanya? He's saying that they don't have the skill of like farming, rice farming.
Oh.
They are used to planting maize, beans, cassava. But that technology, all of that skill.
So they need that skill. Somebody can come around and teach them.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, so there is a question here. Yes. Then you come.
Okay, should they be given another piece of land somewhere where it is a bit safe? Are they willing to move? If not, what are the reasons?
Anauliza tuseme mpewe shamba kwingine.
Na hapa tunaweza pata majibu kutoka at least watatu ama wanne.
Already have. Yes, these are not my babies. from today.
That's nice.
Yeah, I know we are still taking all that in, but we were able to find this generous lady who allowed us to take a video of her grounding millet for porridge. Millet is a type of a small grain cereal that has been a staple food in many traditional cultures for centuries and in many parts of the world. And in Africa, for example, millet porridge is a common breakfast food, often served with milk, honey, or other local ingredients. And it was really beautiful to allow her to see this, and hopefully we get to take some home.